Coach, what's it been like for you now that you're going through a spring practice here as a coach? How's that sort of been going for you?
Well, I can tell you, since being hired here last year, things are moving fast, but they always say your second year things kind of slow down. And I'm getting settled finally, so getting to know the guys better. Being able to teach them technique in the spring and going through the spring is good for me so far. I think the players like it too.
Travian, we were talking with Sterling Lucas just a little while ago, and it seems like not just that edge room, but the defensive tackle room just has a lot of experience in it. What has the process been like this spring? Do you feel like you're kind of ahead in terms of some of the teachings, maybe than in years past at other schools when you were in the spring? I know, like you said, you weren't here last spring.
Yeah. So right now, we got a lot of guys that got experience up front, and so it's helpful. Having transfers coming in, you got some walk-ons, some freshmen. And so being able to have those guys out there to teach and help line them up and coach has been good. So just experience always helped the team. So having Tonka, Boogie, TJ, all those guys play a lot of football. And then you got Dylan coming in. You got a lot of young guys and, Jules and Kales, those guys are new. So just having both guys, on the field, helping those young guys out. So it's been good so far. It's been really good.
Yeah, kind of going off that, how big has it been to have a guy like Tonka Hemingway back in the room, and what are you seeing from him in the early parts of the spring here?
It's been good. It's been a blessing, when Tonka announced that he was coming back for another year. It's been real good having him back. Tonka don't talk much, but he leads by example. So just having him here, having him in. So we just told Tonka just go out there and play ball and lead these guys this year. So we already know what he can do, know how physical he can play. We know how athletic Tonka is. Well, now it's just leaving this place better than what he found it.
Coach, you brought up Dylan Stewart. What have you seen from him on the outside, and is there any chance he could get some reps in the middle?
Well, right now he's just gonna, Sterlu doing a great job, so he's working on his get off and just getting the playbook down pat. So once he get his main position down, then we'll start seeing other things what we can do with him. But Dylan is an athlete. He can move inside, he can move outside, but right now we're just learning the playbook right now for Dylan. So he's gonna be a great athlete for us coming off that edge.
Obviously, with the transfer portal, it's tough to know exactly who's going to be in your room every year.
Right.
How big of a relief was it to know that TJ, Tonka, Boogie were all coming back, and how much a part of those conversations were you of making, just kind of checking in with them to see were they coming back or not?
The biggest thing was just building a relationship with those guys. I wasn't, I'm excited they came back, but I felt great about it because of the relationship that I built with them in the time that I was here. And so just to have all Tonka, Boogie, and TJ back this year, it's going to be huge for our defense, huge for our program. And I was excited, and like I said, just to have those guys back and have more depth where they can teach. And their whole job this year is just leave this place better than when they found it, because they are great players, great kids. We love them. But, our time always come to an end. So I'm just telling them, enjoy this year, and we'll revisit everything towards the end of the year.
Seems like TJ really blossomed and stepped into his own last year. Just wanted to ask, what were the signs of progress you kind of saw in his game last year, and going into this season, where do you see him kind of improving his game and further developing it?
Well, TJ's ability to move, he was known as a basketball player, so he has great ability to move real good. So now it's just getting stronger. And I just told him his job is now to be a professional, perfect his craft, going through the spring, being a leader. And so with him, just perfecting what he already does good now, just master it.
With the dynamic of doing the 4-down and 3-down stuff and how that maybe affects who you and Sterling are actually coaching, like which players are working and where, how does that go for you? What's sort of your perspective on that whole thing and what all comes with it?
What you say that again?
When you're doing the 4-down stuff and you got guys who are maybe playing inside or whatever, then you go 3-down and maybe have a guy who can slide outside or vice versa, whatever the case may be. How does that kind of change things for you, or does it change things for you?
It really don't change. We kind of coach the guys to learn multiple positions. So it really don't change my perspective or anything. How we do it 3-down or 4-down. We just talk it up and make sure we're on the same page and and to make sure we got the right guys on the field. So if we got a 4-down package, we'll make sure we got the best guys on the field. If we got a 3-down package, we're going to make sure we got the best guys on the field. So it don't really change my mindset or what we do. We just make sure we're on the same page of having the right guys on the field for those packages.
Kind of following up on that a little bit, you have a lot more depth in this room now this year, and Coach Lucas talked about like hockey shifts in terms of his rotation. What does your substitution or rotation strategy kind of look like? And I know you mentioned the 3rd and 4th down package.
Well, right now we're just trying to get most of the new guys and the younger guys reps. So I'm just rotating as I see fit. There's no really magic secret to it. It's just making sure it's a spring ball, so make sure everyone get reps. And once we get to the fall, we'll start playing it out. But right now, everyone's getting coached the same. Everyone's getting pretty much the same amount of reps. So we don't, in the spring, we're not looking at 1s, 2s, and 3s. We're making sure everybody get good quality reps right now.
You mentioned some of the transfers earlier through spring practice so far. What stood out about DeAndre Jules and Monkel Goodwin?
Jules is a massive guy that can move really well. What's standing out right now is like, taking on double teams, having the ability to take 2. And in his conference playing the run, and Monkel is very twitchy. He's flashing right now, showing some good plays out there. So just having those guys, we're excited. It's great depth that we was lacking last year, and just adding it this year. I'm excited to see what those guys do in the fall.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned going into year 2 now. Now that you've had a year of working with Clayton White, how would you, describe, what you've learned about him and his style on that in that year?
Just, settling down and understanding. I mean, as far as the front, it's just knowing when he's going to call things and how he's going to call it. And like I said, my job is for just let him do his job, and I got to just make sure we're on the same page. So just going through a spring, actually, and I'm getting used to how he called things, and just knowing for me, my job is just to get the best guys no matter what he calls. So it's helping me settle down, and just actually going through a spring and fall and in a full year with Clayton. So last year, I missed the spring and it came in the fall. So swimming a little bit, things was moving fast, but now that I'm, one season under, things are starting to slow down, and I'm starting to understand how he works and he's understanding how I work. Thank y'all.